Hi, welcome back. Today is the 31st of July 2021, so we're doing a bit of a blog entry. Something has come up that we have to address, and it's not by me wanting to do it, it's actually a need to do it. And this is the servers that we are currently running on. They're changing their specification about what language we can use in the background. If you didn't know this already, all our websites are written in PHP. They're pretty simple, but they're still written in PHP. The biggest part of that is, and I didn't write this part, is the third-party forum. It's actually written by someone else. Simple Machines forum. We use an old version of it actually, and this is causing a problem because the server wants to update to, I think it's PHP 7 or something like that, and our code bases are pretty much compliant with PHP 5.4, I think it was. There's actually another problem as well, is that as of a couple of days ago, the ordering page no longer works because our account has been turned off. So I've got a couple of things that need to be fixed, need to be addressed before we can do anything. Now the ordering stuff, I can go and find a different way of doing orders, etc. That's all fine. But I'm going to need to update the website. So I might as well bite the bullet and implement some of that stuff in the background anyway. I've got a more up-to-date version of some of these websites anyway, but the difficulty is that the PlayBASIC website is written it's not actually generically written, whereas the Underwear Design one is. This is more of a generic site. I mean, the theming is very simple because I like very simple and clean themes. These days everything's resizable, etc., and you can show it in your phone, etc. So we lose points from things like Google because we don't have, websites that work fantastic on mobile phones, for example. So both of these websites won't work beyond the end of next month if we don't update them. Now I wrote the back ends of these websites that I can handle updating them. I just didn't want to do it now. That's all it comes down to. The problem is this: is the forum is not. I didn't write the forum. I wrote the plugins for it that do some of the customization stuff, and these are implemented as part of the theme actually. But the actual guts of it is just an off-the-shelf forum solution. Now, what I've been talking about doing for a while, wanting to do for a while, is move this off the Underwear Design domain name onto the PlayBASIC domain name. Perhaps keep the legacy one, but move it across to here. Now, we will change the theming a bit, so they fit in better with each other. Like this is actually rendered out, this theme around here. I forget what we used to render the inset stuff, but it was another piece of software that does this kind of this smooth rectangle rendering stuff. It did the buttons, etc., all that kind of stuff. So it was handy, but we just used the graphical elements and pieced them back together. So our sites use tables. They're not actually, there's very little styling in them at all. In modern terms, all modern websites are done with, they're styled pretty much. That's for the client side. That doesn't affect the PHP back end of the code. For this one here, we can change the theme fairly easily. I say fairly, within a reason anyway, and life would go on. And as long as the PHP code's working okay, life will go on. It's pretty basic, really. Got our news elements there. One of our programs, so it's because it's not in a div, it's pushing out. Anything that's too wide pushes the page around, which is the downside of using tables. But the tables have worked fine for most things for us for a long time. I mean, how you do the styling is not really important now. The issue has become the forum, and what to do with the legacy forum. This is an old build of the forum. It's it needs to be cloned pretty much and transferred across onto playbasic.com. There are a few different things I can do. I can do a cache of the forum and cache it all as HTML. I kind of like this idea because it means we just turn all the threads into basically HTML documents or kind of pseudo markup documents, and we just display them with a simple display routine. So you can't modify or log in to that at all. It's just it's a permanent way of capturing the forum as it was and the data on it. We could try and leave this forum up, update the back-end code, make it compatible with the changes they want made on the server end, which is going to be difficult when I didn't write it. I was picking through a lot of stuff, understanding how it needs to be altered to make it function correctly in the future. And if I do those things, am I making something less secure by doing that? I wouldn't know. This is the thing. I might get the code running, but it might have opened up a can of worms by doing that. I could dump all the database stuff out to like a markup type file and have a very simple display method. So for things like your threads, for example, these are pretty much if you've used the forum before, if you've got to edit your post, you've got a very simple square bracket markup. What I'm talking about is just keeping the square bracket markup and none of this theme around here, having our own sort of theme that we can display. That's one way of doing it. We do look, things like attachments become a problem. I haven't actually worked out a way of solving that problem. What I want to do really is I want to have a local server here on my laptop, copy the whole thing across and do most of this work here, which means we might miss some posts between when this is started to when it's finished. So I might have to turn the boards off or restrict access to it for a while. Don't know. I do like the idea of just launching a new forum on the playbasic.com domain, and even if it's only even if we only keep it in the interim, right, while things are being transferred, as long as it's PHP 7 compliant, which I think it is from memory. We'll have no problems running that after the upgrade is done on the server. But we lose all the legacy posts. All of that stuff is gone. Now, some of those things, like I can run through and cache them out and add bits to the theme to implement those same things back into it. So we can display PlayBASIC code and maybe have some secondary things like help files be cross-referenced inside it. You might be better off doing that as JavaScript, actually, but doing the highlighting internally, but actually having the external linking stuff done through here, on your end through the browser. I mean, even the highlighting stuff, you can do that through JavaScript pretty well. Using the PHP to process the page and do syntax highlighting, it's a bit of work for that page to do. If you've got a bunch of, like a long page with lots of code, then server's taking up a bunch of time doing just feeding that page back to you. You want to have a situation where the server's feeding the page back to you, and then your browser's doing the display formatting stuff for you. So what are we going to do? I really have no option. I really have to get this done the next month. So if you rock up and find out some websites are down or some things are not working, etc., then this is why. Or if you find there's this very simple page representing the whole website for a time being, don't freak out. We have social media as well, of course. Jump on the YouTube channel, etc. Jump on the Facebook page, that kind of stuff. Jump on Twitter or whatever it is, to keep some sort of contact of what we're doing. We're not disappearing. This is made much harder as well because I don't have anywhere near as much time as I used to. That's why I'm kind of worried about this getting done, and getting it done within a length of time that's acceptable. My personal preference is, for the forums, I actually like the idea of caching the whole board the way it sits as HTML, and then just, even if it's just cached like that, you can reconstruct the threads, or pull the text out as you need. If you do it from the database side, you've got to kind of work out what the forum display code was doing to put threads back together. You know what I mean? If I just catch the end of the result, if I catch a picture of the end painting being drawn, I don't have to worry about how the painting was drawn. In this case, I don't have to worry about how the threads are constructed, etc. If I can get it running locally, I can sort a bunch of those problems out locally, and you never have to worry about it online. But yeah, look, at some point in the near future, these are going to change. You might have to set up a new account. We're getting a lot of spam bots in the old forum anyway. Every day there's another 20 spam bots are signed up, and we keep adding more to the ban list, and they just kind of keep getting through. Frustrating. Possibly you could have things like log in to the forums with your your Google account, or those kind of things. It's becoming sort of more and more accepted now. PlayBASIC wise, not much has changed. Scott wrote this Wolfenstein demo, and I did mess around with it and broke it before. What did I break? What was I changing? I'll show you anyway. Oh, that's right. The corner edges I broke, fooling around with them. The three numbers up the top here is you've got a frame rate, a number of vertical strips, and the number of spans that are scanned. There you go. That's me fooling around. Oops, that's not Scott. I still actually think that doing this from a map, if you just took the map and you convert the map into empty space volumes, so you flip the way you think about it, and rather than scanning out, so you're scanning out from the volume. If one of the walls is set, is a wall, in other words, you stop scanning in that direction, and you can render that fragment. This wall here, you can render this fragment here as one pass, because you know where the wall starts and where the wall ends. You just run through and just render that. Then beyond that, you just scan for the next intersection or the next rectangle. Scan and draw that within the fragment. If it hasn't filled in the whole empty space, you're thinking about volumes pretty much. Strangely enough, in this one, it's not the rendering that's actually the problem. It's that the scanning is really heavy. And I only vaguely know how this works, to be honest. If the ray is moving up or down, we're stepping along and computing every horizontal intersection that it has. Are we? And then keeping the smallest value of those. And doing the same for X. Right, so if this volume, this space here was our current block that we are starting scanning from, and we're standing here where our 0 is, if we scan this direction here, then the distance where this Y intersection occurs will be way off screen. It'll be way out here somewhere. The one here will be closer. So yeah, that makes sense. It's like a line. Well, it's a line drawing routine across the floor, pretty much. It just does seem more involved than what you would think. Not sure why. Like things like we hear the modulus of this, for example. If that's a power of 2, I'm pretty sure it is. Y cell size, wherever that's declared. Y cell size. 64 pixels. So, yeah. I don't know where that mod was. Well, here's the X version of that same thing. So the modulus of this is really the same as doing this. This expression here is the same as going if we go int and then we do an AND. Now this is set to the 64, so you want the bits below that. Now it's not a constant in here as well too, so you probably should have like a pre-computed mask. Yeah, so up the top of the code, cell size mask. At the top of our program we would have, where the cell size is initialized, we would set the masks. -1. For Y we do the same thing. Where are we? Okay. This would give us the same result as that. I don't remember if mod is integer or floating point in PV. I got a feeling it's actually a floating point. We'll just do a quick check to see if we've broken the logic dramatically. I don't know what that's doing. Same expression here for the Y. So we're trying to keep it to inside the cell and mask. I kind of like brackets around those things to show me that it's the same expression. So we're 2 instructions less because we don't have the mod instructions anymore, the floating point instructions. Do we break it chronically? Irregular brackets, okay. Okay, int and that, and that. The same for the Y. Int and cell Y, first bracket, second bracket. I don't really know what we changed, but we haven't modified its behavior dramatically. What I found weird is if you stop rendering, it still takes a lot of time to render to scan the frame. Got range clips in here. don't know. Like, my gut feeling is that if you have routines that are specifically set up to find intersections as array is moving up, so it doesn't have to worry about the bottom edge at all, it just looks for the top edge. Another one with array is moving down positively or negatively, for example. Same with X and Y. It means more code, yes, but less of these decisions inside loops that can stack up. Anyway, apart from that, it's looking pretty good. You know, I mean, getting the method sorted is what this project is all about, really. He's done a pretty good job. I wish I'd actually spent more time looking at it to be sort of more on top of how this probably should be working. But back to the websites. So the websites are a problem. We have to fix them, and that's all there is about it. If you've got any ideas, you know, I'll start a thread up on the boards and give us a yell or whatever. See what we do. Until next time, thanks for listening, and I'll catch up with you sometime soon. Happy coding. Bye.